So now is the time where oh shoot, dang it, I got pulled over. How you doing? Yeah, I didn't see it. I'm not from here, and honestly, I wasn't expecting it on a road like this in a T. Like I was just dumb.
Citation today for running a stop sign, okay?
All right.
I need you to sign on the red X here. It's not an admission of guilt. It's just stating that you'll appear in court for me on before the date on your citation.
All right. Hey, I really want to say thank you for not being a real jerk about it.
So I used to ride bikes too. I used to have Hayabusa, so.
Oh yeah? Yeah, that scares me. All right, Game of Fours. Game of Fours, I was tagged by Tex R6S to do this, which this will be the first time I've ever done one of these tag challenges, whatever you want to call it. So shout out to Tex R6S, which I wish I was riding with him. He doesn't bail on people. He doesn't bail on people. Game of Fours, thanks to Tex R6S. There's 5 questions that you have to answer 4 of, and each question you have to answer 4 things, and then you tag 4 other moto vloggers, which Tex took like 3 of the guys that I know. Chico Flaco Moto, and gosh, who else? A couple other guys that I was like, I would have used those guys, but I can't double tag them, I guess. 4 favorite foods, 4 favorite drinks, 4 places you live, 4 places you've been, and 4 names you've gone by. I'm going to do food, drink, lived, and been. 4 favorite foods. I'm not going to take Tex's route and say whatever my wife makes, because that's a cop-out. He knows his wife doesn't even watch these videos, honestly. Honestly. So, way to suck up to nobody, Tex. Yeah. I'm just playing. My wife does make some good things. She makes this, alright, this is kind of an aside, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and add it anyway. This one dish we started making because my wife and I have gone low carb, and it's a spinach artichoke, what is it? It's like a casserole, spinach artichoke heart casserole thing, and it's really good. It's really good. I like the El Presidente at Fuego. Now that we've gone low carb, I have to get it as it's called, naked, which means no tortilla, it's in a bowl. And then also I have to ditch the fried avocado part. The fried avocado is pretty good, but even with not fried avocados, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. And I like a really good rare to medium rare ribeye steak. Oh my gosh, that's so, my mouth is watering right now. Candy corn. Candy corn, is one of my favorites of all time. Candy corn, you can't, like, I love it. I've loved it since I was a child, and I still eat too much of it today. All right, so that's the 4 foods. 4 drinks. 4 drinks. All right. Unsweet tea, done just right. I could drink that all day. Number 2, water. I drink tons of water, and really it is my favorite. Even when I have the option for other things, I typically go for water. With the low-carb diet, I found a new beer that I like. It's actually made by a guy that I know. He started a brewery out towards Seguin, and it's called, his brewery is called BS Brewing, that's his initials, Brian Schmeckel Brewing. And the beer that he made is, I actually get it at Specs here in San Marcos. It's called Pecan Ale, and it's pretty low carb for what it is. So that's my new favorite. That's one of my new favorite drinks. I don't drink it, but maybe one at a time, because honestly, because of the carbs. But it's got a really good dark taste to it, and I enjoy it. Number 4, I'll go with another alcoholic drink, and I don't drink this anymore because it's high carbs. But Corsair makes a vanilla bean infused vodka, and I like to pair that up with a cherry Coke. 4 places I've lived. Okay, I've lived in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. I have lived in Pasadena, Texas. I have lived in Elma, Washington. And I currently live in San Marcos, Texas. There's quite a few other places that I've lived, but those are the 4 that are pretty much. The first place I lived was born in Pasadena, Texas. I was in the military. I went to Fort Walton Beach, Florida. I got out of the military and made a mistake and lived in Elma, Washington. And then got married and went to school and currently reside in San Marcos, Texas, which is probably those 4 places, most memorable, top notch is definitely Fort Walton Beach and San Marcos. And 4 places I've been, and this is all going to be military because that's really easy. All right, 4 places I've been. All right, first place I've been, Las Vegas, Nevada. My very first temporary duty assignment. Took a civilian aircraft out to Las Vegas. Spent a little over a month working in the evenings and then gambling after work, coming home at 6 o'clock in the morning, sleeping and doing it all over again with one of my buddies. His name was Joe. Can't remember his last name, but we had the same birthday, which we found out at the roulette table. So that was number 1, places I've been. Number 2, the next place I went temporary duty, Iceland. I went to Iceland, actually Keflavik, Iceland, in the winter. We left, I believe it was towards the beginning of November, and we came back. Some of us came back right before Christmas and some of us stayed. I actually came back right before Christmas, which I wasn't too keen on because there was no, like, I had nothing at home. Like, I had nothing at the base for me. It wasn't like I had family, and there wasn't enough time for me to take leave to go visit my family, so that was out of the question. So, but it was dark most of the time. I think the sun was up for maybe 4 hours a day while I was there. Seems like it would be a little disorienting, but it was not. It was actually quite, like, I kept time better in the dark than I did at my next place, which I will tell you was Anchorage, Alaska. I went the following summer of summer of 97. Sorry, summer of 97. I was in Anchorage, Alaska, and the sun never went down. About 1 o'clock in the morning, it would dip down, and it would be dusk for about an hour and a half, and then it would come back up. And that was very disorienting. Anchorage is a very beautiful town, by the way. Very beautiful town. Seems very, very clean. We were there in the summertime, and I guess maybe in the winter when the snow and whatnot comes through, it's a little dirty, but very beautiful. I really enjoyed it, and it was July and August, and it might have been 65 degrees while we were there. I don't remember. I just know when it got on the plane in Florida, it was like 95 degrees with 100,000% humidity, and then we got off up in Alaska, and it was like 65 degrees with no humidity. And just gorgeous. Like, we were cold. We were so cold when we got off of that plane, but we adjusted to it quickly. What I didn't adjust to was the sun. Like, the sun would be like way up, like right now, like it's noon basically, and the sun would be like at that position for a long time, and you would look at your watch and say, oh well, it might be 5 o'clock. It feels like it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You look at your clock and it's 10:30 at night. I gotta be at work in 8 hours, you know. So it was very disorienting. I did not like that as much as I enjoyed Iceland's complete darkness, or relatively complete darkness. So okay, first was Las Vegas, second was Iceland, Reykjavik, Iceland, third was Anchorage, Alaska, and fourth, I can't do that one. Fourth, I have to do that one. Fourth is Manama, Bahrain. That was my last temporary duty assignment while I was in the military, the Air Force, and it's a little rock in the Persian Gulf, and we lived in tents, and it was not as enjoyable as the other ones. Definitely not as enjoyable. I do have a couple stories from that, and if you guys will leave comments down below, I'll tell you the stories that I have from that. They're actually kind of fun stories, but I don't want to go into it on this Game of Fours portion because it's not necessarily appropriate. But very much a culture shock going there. They have a lot of Western civilization type thing. Like they have McDonald's and they have a lot of stuff that we're accustomed to here in the States, but you know, everything was slightly different. They had a gold mall, like a building that was nothing but gold shops. You go in there and then you haggle over the price of something. It's not like the jewelry stores here where they set out a price and that's what you pay. You go in there and you basically pay by the weight of it, and you agree to a per kilogram whatever. So it's very much barter system there. And that was a naval base, so that was a little different too from what I was accustomed to. So those are the 4 places I've been. So that covers all 4, right? So I've got food, drink, lived, been. And I'm not doing the names one because, yeah, most of them, I've had a lot of nicknames, but they're really close to my real name, and I'm not ready to give you guys that, even though you may know my real name. So, alright, so now I got to tag 4 moto vloggers. The Floyd, RR Rob 919, Dark Knoll, Salem, CBR. I watch their videos. Hey, get you another bike, man. Ah, we'll just get her one too. Ah, all right, later.